Root cellars are an awesome prepper tool. This past year I made some upgrades to ours. Come and check them out.
Hey Provident Preppers, I'm Kylene.
And I'm Jonathan, and today is April 29th. We put in 300 pounds of potatoes in this root cellar about 7 months ago, the end of September. The cellar's starting to warm up a little bit with spring and summer, so it's time to get them out. So let's pop the top off this thing and talk about it.
We've been eating them all winter long,
yeah,
but there's
and giving them to kids
last bag in here.
Yep, one last bag.
So it's time to get the last one out. So let's show you how we do it. So John created this root cellar. We have our original one right here, but this is the one he's been doing all kinds of funky upgrades on, making it bigger and better. And there's the last bag. All right.
Okay, so what do you want to know, Mama?
All right, Johnny, show us what you've done.
Okay, so this last year I decided I was going to use technology to help make this even better. So this root cellar has worked really well in the past, but I had some issues with temperatures getting down because this isn't as deep as a real root cellar. I did have some problems one year with the temperature dropping into the 20s in here. I don't want that because I think that's probably not good for the produce. So I just upgraded a little bit. You can see this little controller here. And what I've done is set this so that at 32 degrees, this turns on just long enough to warm it up to about 34 degrees, and then it shuts off. Now, down under here, what's plugged into this is a little heat mat that they put under a seed tray to get them started. Now, that heat mat only pulls 20 watts, so it's not very much, but it's just enough, and you can just see the heat mat right here, just the corner of it, and it's under some sand here. So when that gets down to 32 degrees, that just turns on enough, it warms that sand, and the temperature goes up just enough to keep it out of the freezing range, and then it turns off. So you might be wondering, well, that probably cost a lot of money. Well, this last winter, we used a total of 8 kilowatt hours, which is under $1 of electricity. So it didn't need it very much, but during especially January and February, it was pretty cold, and so it used it a little bit then, but it was just enough to keep this at a good temperature. Now you see I also have my trusty fridge thermometer, but I'm using it in here, and right through this wall is my office. So I'm sitting there watching that every day. I can just see what the temperature's doing in here, and I've got one in the other cellar as well. So I was already doing that, but this just made a world of difference. You can see the cord is just a flat cord. It comes in this side, and then it just does its magic.
Okay, John, while I appreciate all the techno stuff that you have done to make this just perfect, and all the time you have spent monitoring and measuring and being the engineer that you are, what I really care about is, what do those potatoes look like 7 months later?
Okay, that's a valid question, a good question. The last bag that I brought out was about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and they were perfect. Now that was before it had warmed up a little bit, so let's just take a look and see how things are looking in here. Okay, well, there you have it. Now, the last bag that came out had none of them sprouting, but that was when the temperature in here was still down in the 30s. We're now in the 40s in here, so you can see they're starting to sprout a little bit. And that's another good point to make here, is these can be used as seed potato.
But quite frankly, those are still really good to eat.
Oh, yeah.
I would totally just scrub them up and cook them.
Yeah, they're still very firm. They're still just fine. Very, very good for cooking, baking, mashing, whatever.
Now I just have to put in a plug. John is an engineer, and he makes all these things work in his brain, right? But we had fabulous success with the root cellar that we have over there. Yeah. The problem is we put lots of straw bales on it. and then a tarp over it. So it was a lot more work to get into it. So if you can't do something like this, the insulation is what's huge. You've got to have, like the straw bales that we had on there, it really made all the difference in making sure that it stayed the temperature that it needed to stay.
Right. And with this one, we put foam around the outside, this 2-inch foam, and in the lid. The insulation does make the difference. I just want to mention that in the fall, because we're coming out of the heat, it's still fairly warm, but at night we're getting those temperatures down in the 40s. So I'll put my shop vac on one of these vents and just blow all the cold air that I can through that for a few days before the potatoes come. This thing on the inside will be like 65, 70 degrees. And so my goal is to get that temperature down as fast as I can and as far as I can. And I can still only get it down like into the 40s. Other than that, it's just a matter of plugging it in. And of course I have to put my power consumption meter on, which is why I know it only used 8 kilowatt hours, which included this device and that device. It's just awesome.
And so now, if you would like to see either one of these videos, we will link to them where we created it and the different upgrades that he's made, because this has been a process. But the really cool thing about it is we took something that was being thrown away, a dead freezer, and we decided to utilize it to store the food over the winter for us. And I think that's really important. So for the question of the day today, we would love to know, what are you doing to store food over the winter and to keep it cool? What kind of root cellars have you developed? Comment below. And thanks for being part of the solution.
It's a beautiful thing. What more can I say?